I'm joined today by Christina Renna, the President and CEO of the Chamber of Commerce of Southern New Jersey. Thanks for being here today, Christina.
I appreciate the invitation, Regina. Thank you.
Well, we're in Trenton speaking about the budget. It's a beginning, actually, of a process that will take place over the next couple of months, but this certainly is the first insights we're having. Mm-hmm. And leading into it, we both actually have done reports recently. I'm going to get to yours in a minute, but ours was directly on the budget and spending, and we expressed our concerns, of course, about escalating spending at a higher rate than than inflation, than in population, you name it, and then the impact that could have on both residents and businesses in terms of incremental taxes. Mm-hmm. So, unless things change, I think that is going to be the outcome. But you represent a lot of businesses in the southern part of our state. What are they saying, and what do you think about the budget?
Well, we knew this day was coming, unfortunately. We just didn't know when, and here we are. So, we have been flush with cash in this state in a way that no one had seen in a very long time due to the pandemic. And so instead of being really fiscally responsible, we saw a lot of spending, an exorbitant amount of spending. And all of us in the business community said, this is wonderful, this is great. We've all been through this pandemic. We have these monies at our fingertips. We're doing some smart things with it. We're doing some questionable things with it. But the day is gonna come that this money is gonna dissipate. It's gonna go away. And then there's gonna be one of two solutions to the problem. One is going to be cut spending, which generally speaking is not something that any administration really likes to do, in fairness, or try to find dedicated, steady revenue streams to supplement, and that's another way of saying taxes. And unfortunately, usually in the state of New Jersey, at the top of that list, when we're talking taxes on the business community in some form or fashion. And here we are.
And, it's on the heels, of course, of a substantial improvement for the business community that was announced and lauded over the last several months, right? We took the surcharge, which made us the highest in the nation, and removed that surcharge, which I always like to remind people, they aren't companies, they're employers, right? For our residents in the state. So now it looks like there's going to be not only a return of that surcharge, but also an alignment of that revenue with transit, which I would think has got to be double worrisome in terms of the lack of control any business person has over what New Jersey Transit does. Sure. Are they concerned about that?
Well, just generally speaking, there's very little correlation between what New Jersey Transit does and the employer community here in the state of New Jersey. But it seems as though this governor is going to be tying those two things together. That's certainly all indications we've gotten. From my perspective, not only does it not make sense, it's extraordinarily detrimental to the southern part of the state. And when you look at some of these proposals and look through the thought process, which we're all having a little bit of a hard time following that bouncing ball, and maybe we'll get some clearer explanation today in the speech, but South Jersey does not utilize New Jersey Transit.
They're not provided.
They not only do not utilize it, very limited. In fairness, there are very few. There's one rail line with a very low ridership because New Jersey Transit doesn't invest in that line to help market it or promote it. There are some bus lines, very limited, that do not help us get to job sites or the tourism community. But that's all to say that these businesses in South Jersey that are now going to be faced with this surcharge are essentially paying for a service that they have no access to and that no one provides them. So not only do we not want to see this tax increase happen, as it relates to the South Jersey business community, unfairness really abounds.
Yeah, well, you recently, in trying to help, well, we like to say we are one state. Right. We're, of course, different characteristics, both economically, geographically, industry-wise, so there's lots of differences and opportunities in the southern part of the state. And your organization issued a really thorough and I thought very interesting insights about what could really impact most positively the Southern New Jersey business community and economy, of course. So tell us a little bit about that report and your ideas.
As someone who grew up in Cumberland County, I thought Cherry Hill was North Jersey, which sounds absolutely crazy to most people in the state of New Jersey, but that is true. When you look at the 7 most southern counties of South Jersey, there are so many opportunities for economic growth, business development, workforce growth, partnerships with institutions of higher education. But Atlantic County is going to be very different than Camden County, and Salem County is going to be very different than Burlington County. So the report really wanted to highlight our similarities, our differences, and isn't really for a South Jersey audience. It's really for people outside of South Jersey to have a better understanding of the region. And our hope is better policies that are more holistic and comprehensive that can really help South Jersey will result from them.
Of course. So is there one of those recommendations that you'll hope to hear in today's budget?
Well, I am going to hear one big piece that we pointed out, unfortunately, just not in a positive way, and that it comes back to New Jersey transit and transportation. When we looked at 4 major issues collectively that impact all 7 counties, transportation, the lack of transit and transportation infrastructure was number 1 on that list. And so not only is it impeding economic development, but now the employers in South Jersey, who are some of the largest employers, are going to be taxed for a service that they don't have access to in an area of the state where their business and the wealth their business generates, the jobs their business generates, goes a lot further for us, given our population difference. So yes, but unfortunately not in a positive way, in a negative way.
Well, you know, in prior legislatures, you had a very strong advocate in Senator Sweeney, especially on transportation.
Yes.
And, you know, the Gloucester line he
Yes.
talked about quite a bit. Who in the legislature do you kind of look to now as being that, you know, strong advocate for Southern Jersey?
You know, when we talk specifically about the Glassboro-Camden rail line, Senator Sweeney was the biggest advocate for it. Since really the pandemic, we're seeing a huge wave of, NIMBYs, not in our backyard, that we never really heard the 20 years prior, because this is not a new project. This has been around for a very long time. You know, it's interesting. The South Jersey legislative delegation is right now constructed predominantly Democrat with some very strong Republican. We are an apolitical organization, so I don't have the luxury of actually caring who wins or who loses. I just have to work with whoever's in office. And I'll say on the Senate side, it's really Senator Troy Singleton and Senator Mike Testa that for different issues and different reasons are just behind us. And in the Assembly, Majority Leader Lou Greenwald is the majority leader, and that position, of course, comes with a lot of benefits. And then we have some really strong Assembly members as well. And I would point to Assemblyman Antoine McClellan down in the 1st District, who really understands the need for tourism, but also understands the manufacturing needs, some of the growth needs we need in Cumberland County as well, given the makeup of his district.
Well, it's great to hear in terms of ongoing representation in the legislature. So hopefully we'll hear more than just the disappointing news on the one side in the budget today. And we'll have you back afterwards and kind of hear how much of your proposals that you put forward in your report are being adopted, not just in this budget, but going forward.
I look forward to that, Regina. So thank you very much.
Thanks for being here, Christina.
Yeah, thanks.